Chapter 2. Through the Greenwood. As Robin grew from boy to youth, his father thought seriously about his son's future. It was time that the lad learned a trade. His great strength suited him to many trades, but his adventurous, high-spirited nature caused his father some worry. Nevertheless, Robin's mother and father were very proud of their daring young son. Sturdy, well-built, handsome, and full of fun and good humour, he was popular amongst his friends. In far-away Nottingham, Robin's mother had a brother. He was Squire Gamwell of Gamwell Hall, a good man, fond of youngsters and ever ready to give a helping hand to those in need. Robin's mother had not seen him for many years, and she wanted very much to show her sturdy young son to him. "My lord," she said one day to her husband, "it is some years since I saw my brother. Would it not be possible for me to go to Nottingham to visit him?" Her husband thought deeply. "I would love you to go, my dear," he said at length, "but there are difficulties in the way. You see, it means in the first place that someone would have to go with you. You cannot, of course, go alone." "I realise that," agreed his wife. "Someone would have to protect me from the bands of robbers along the road." "Yes, and you realise too that I cannot possibly go myself," went on her husband. "I cannot afford the time for such a long journey. The trouble is that I can think of nobody who could undertake the trip." His wife sat silent for a few moments. She was not surprised at her husband's reply. She had expected something like that. Now was the time to bring out the secret hope that she had in her mind. "Could I not take Robin?" she begged eagerly, trying at the same time to make the remark sound casual. "He is strong enough to protect me." Then she added confidently, "Though it is a 40-mile journey, I know I shall be safe with him." Her husband gave a merry laugh. "I understand perfectly," he chuckled. "The hen wants to show off her sturdy young chicken." He was silent again. He considered deeply. Could he rely upon his son to defend his mother? The lad was certainly strong enough to cope with possible danger. His next remark settled the question. "You want your brother to see our manly son," he said. "Very natural too. Take the lad, my dear, and I shall be glad to know how your brother is." Robin's mother was almost beside herself with happiness. She could hardly wait to find Robin to tell him the news. She ran through the open door of the cottage and found him walking towards her. "Robin," she exclaimed excitedly, "we are going to Nottingham." "To Nottingham?" echoed Robin. "Just you and me," went on his mother. "Oh, mother," laughed Robin, "that will be wonderful. When are we going?" Robin was all excited now, but there was a great deal of preparation before they could start out on the journey. With no means of travelling except by horse, they had to make sure that there was enough food and drink to last the journey. Then Robin was given a new set of clothes. The horse's shoes were examined, the bridle cleaned, and the saddle made as comfortable as possible. "Come here, son," said Robin's father, "and I'll draw you a map of the route you must take." Robin listened carefully while his father explained in great detail the road he must follow, where he was most likely to meet robbers, and where he could leave the road and take shortcuts through forest land. At last all plans were completed. The water bottles were filled, and the horse was loaded for the journey. "You have a grand day to start the journey off," said Robin's father, as he stood gazing at the clear blue sky. Dressed in the gayest holiday clothes, Robin's mother came into the yard where Robin, with his horse, awaited her. His father had bought him a sword, which he now wore proudly, and in his belt was thrust a dagger. Robin sprang lightly into the saddle and waited while his mother was lifted into the pillion behind him. "Good luck go with you," called his father, as on the one horse the two set out on their 40-mile journey. It was slow travelling. The horse ambled along through the great forest. Soon they were on the great road that led to Nottingham. For mile upon mile they met nobody, but when they had left the cottage many miles behind, and were making slow progress along the road, they saw two men coming towards them. Robin jumped off his horse, held the reins in his left hand, and gripped his sword with his right, but the men were peaceful travellers, and they passed by with a friendly greeting. After travelling many more miles along the open, dusty, sun-baked road, Robin and his mother reached Nottingham at last. From the town to Gamwell Hall was only a short ride. Robin's uncle was pleased to see him when he arrived. "So this is my nephew," he laughed, as he helped Robin's mother down from the horse. He could see that the lad was well built and intelligent. When he had embraced Robin's mother, he turned. "Hey, Will!" he called, shouting into the old hall. "Come and meet your cousin." Will Gamwell came to the door. He was a tall, fair-haired youth about the same age as Robin. The two became friends at once. "We'll have some fun tomorrow," said Robin's uncle when they were seated around the table for a meal. "We must see what stuff you are made of." "I can hardly wait for tomorrow to come," confided Robin to his mother when at last they were alone together. "I have a feeling that something exciting is about to happen." End of chapter 2.